All right, Caps fans, we're back with another post-game report podcast, and I'm joined once again by Jenaya Talks Caps, the podcast host, Jenaya, and I'm going to have her give her quick thoughts, and I'm going to run down the scoring, and we'll break it down a little bit further and talk about a couple of topics. Jenaya, how are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, obviously, because finally we got the 2 points, and can't be much better than getting it against our biggest rival. And yeah, as far as the game that we just watched, I mean, for me, the big thing was that was much more to the Capitals' identity, the way that we want to see them playing. Um, they were much more physical than they've been in recent weeks. That's kind of been a sticking point for me, as they haven't been playing physically enough lately. They were definitely more than that today. And then the other thing as well was they were just quicker to pucks. Like, they looked like they wanted to win the game today. They've been kind of lackadaisical for a number of weeks now, so it was nice to see. I said before the game started today that maybe all we needed was just a game against our biggest rival to get back to the way that we should be playing, and certainly it looks like that was the case today. As all of the Caps, top to bottom, they came to play today, and the big thing for me as well was like the broadcasters on NBC. Should I say PEMBC? They kept talking about the shot totals, right? Like, that's all they seemed to want to talk about, was how many shots the Penguins were getting, how heavily they were out shooting the Caps. But for me, actually watching the game, it was kind of like the Penguins were. I mean, they tend to do that a lot every year, but they were just kind of shooting blindly from anywhere, trying to get a tip or a rebound, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, they were just kind of firing the puck from everywhere. A lot of them weren't really good shots or good chances, whereas the Caps were kind of waiting for a good look and waiting for a good chance. And obviously, we saw that with a few of the goals as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just break down how the flow of the game went real quickly, and then I'll go through all the scoring, and then we'll kind of break it down from there. So in the first period, Jacob Vrana got off the snide. He'd been sort of snake bitten. They joke that his name is Jake the Snake. He got his 24th goal of the season unassisted. It was a really pretty goal, and it was just sort of a gritty goal, and just sort of going after it like a lot of the goals were. Hornquist got a goal that was actually a pretty nice goal for them. And then, unfortunately, Sidney Crosby scored as well. And then in the third period, it became all Caps. Tom Wilson, on a great turnover on a 4-on-4 hockey, was able to get his 20th goal of the season, an assist by Nicholas Backstrom. Sort of Tom Wilson poked it away. Nicky got the loose change and was able to pass it back to Tom, who was on the breakaway and did a forehand backhand deke thing, and was able to get a nice goal. And then Carl Hagelin, who I thought was the player of the game, got a gritty goal going to the net. Lars Eller, net front presence, sort of made some space for him. Carl Hagelin sort of just pokes it through. John Carlson got his 57th assist on the season. Now he's got the most points in Capitals history for a defensive player. Malkin had a beautiful goal. I hate saying that, but it's true. His 21st goal of the season, an assist by Brian Rust on that one. Tied the game at 3-3. I was starting to get a little worried just because that sort of pretty goal can be a momentum killer. But TJ Oshie, again, another gritty play right to the net, waves at it, gets it under, and gets his 25th goal of the season unassisted, made it 4-3. And then Carl Hagelin, again, the player of the game, gets a very timely empty netter, assist by Nicholas Backstrom, his 39th, Oshie's 21st. It's Hagelin's 6th and 7th goal of the season, makes it 5-3, and they hold on to win. So that was great. What were your thoughts on sort of having a good first period, a terrible second period, but being able to put four gritty goals together in the third?
Yeah, I mean, the theme of this game really for me was the resiliency of the Capitals, which is something that we had gotten so used to seeing over these past few seasons. It had kind of gone away a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but certainly today, there were, like we were just talking before we got on the show here, there were a number of times throughout the game that I felt with the way that the Caps have been playing in recent weeks, like there were a number of times in this game where I thought that they could have easily folded. The first, obviously, being they take the lead on the Vrana goal, and then the Penguins come back and score 2 goals, boom, boom. So you go from being up 1-0 to down 2-1. I thought that with the way that the Caps have been struggling in recent weeks, I hate to say it, I kind of thought they were going to fold and the Penguins were going to get a couple more right there. But obviously that wasn't the case. We got the Tom Wilson goal to tie, which was really just a beautiful play. Great play by Backstrom to cause the turnover in the neutral zone and send Wilson in all alone for the breakaway. That sound that you heard immediately following the goal as well, that was just off in the distance there. That's Jim Rutherford's head exploding. So, he loves every time Tom Wilson scores. And Hagelin, I thought, like you mentioned that you thought he was the player of the game. Just so poetic for me that, after all of those years of him just absolutely killing us in the playoffs, whether it be with the New York Rangers or with the Pittsburgh Penguins, now he's ours and he scores the go-ahead goal against his old team. He scored twice in the game, obviously, so that's awesome for him. And Carl Hagelin in the second half, like there's something about him in the second half once the calendar flips to the new year every year. It's like after the All-Star break especially, he doesn't really score a lot in the first half of the season. He has never throughout his entire career really put up a lot of points through the first half of the season, but come the second half and certainly in the playoffs, he's definitely a guy that you want on your team because he always seems to produce as the games get tougher. And then like you said, for Vrana as well, like in the first period was just kind of okay, I thought. Definitely the third period was the best for the Caps, but in the first period, one of the big problems was we didn't win faceoffs, so it ended up not mattering much as we were very efficient at getting the puck back right away, but it's something that I would like to see them improve on. But possession time for the Caps overall in the first period was very good. And yet, of course,